Here's Chilwell. Oh, it's a fizzer. And Schmeichel can't keep it out. And Dawson has equalised.
Yes lads, how you all doing? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, and today I'm going to bring you guys the Watford versus Leicester City match review. So the boys and girls, it has just finished at Vicarage Road. Watford won, Leicester City won. A disappointing result in our first game back, of course, behind closed doors. However, two absolute wonder strikes late on from Ben Chilwell and Craig Dawson, separating two sides. And to manage to get a point after a pretty poor performance away from home, I guess it's a half decent result today against Watford down at Vicarage Road. So with that being said, today I'm going to go for my general thoughts on today's game down at Vicarage Road. And at the end of today's match review, I'll go for my player ratings for the side which started today against Watford. But just before we get into it, make sure a big thumbs up down below on today's video if you're going to enjoy today's match review between Watford and Leicester. Of course, the football is back, the Premier League is back, and the Leicester content is making another return on the channel. So if you're going to enjoy today's match review, I want to see some more match reviews after each game in the remainder of the season. Make sure you drop a like down below on today's video. If you could hit 40 likes, that would be absolutely insane. While you're down there, make sure you subscribe. I've seen my face on the screen before. We are now on the road to 2,000 subscribers. We're nearly at 1,100, so make sure you subscribe if you are new around here. And a fun fact for you guys, over 80% of you guys, I'm saying it again, haven't even subscribed. What are you doing? Sort it out, people. Absolute disgrace. But a big thanks for those of you who have subscribed. But I know there's at least one person watching this video who hasn't subscribed. So turn that subscribe button grey, because why not? Why the hell not? You just don't want it red. And while you're down there, make sure to turn my channel post notifications so you never miss any future videos on the channel just like this one. Follow my social medias, they'll be down there. Links to all them will be in the description down below. Let me know your thoughts on today's game in the comment section down below. But without further ado, let's get into my Watford versus Leicester match review. So, of course, it has finished at Vicarage Road. Watford won, Leicester City won. A disappointing result in our first game back, of course, behind closed doors. Going into the game, I did expect Leicester to try and grab all 3 points to try and secure a spot in Champions League football, but it was a very, very eventful game. It was looking likely that we were going to get the 3 points until Craig Dawson managed to score on a bicycle kick. I still can't work out how he managed to do that, but of course, it was a very, very eventful ending to the game. Of course, Chilwell striking at an absolute wonder strike in the 90th minute, and Craig Dawson replying with an absolute brilliant goal in the 93rd minute as well, rescuing a point for Watford at home. But on the balance of play, it was very up and down. It wasn't the best of the game, so overall, a point was probably deserved in the end. But of course, with Leicester challenging for Champions League football next season, these are the type of games we simply need to win. It's getting very close to teams like Chelsea catching us up, and this game could prove to be absolutely vital in our race for Champions League football next season. I'm still confident that Leicester will manage to secure a Champions League spot, but these are the type of games we simply need to win. And with the manner of how the game went late on, we really should have held on and managed to get 3 points away from today's game at Vicarage Road. But like I said, if you look at the whole game, a point was probably deserved because it wasn't the best of performances from Leicester. But as a top 4 side, we need to be winning these sort of games heading into the remainder of the season. But like I said, Leicester's performance today wasn't the greatest in my opinion. I thought Leicester found it really difficult to get into the games at times, but obviously with the game being played behind closed doors, I think it was always going to be a very cagey affair, and it proved right. First half, it was very up and down. Leicester dominated for the first 20 minutes or so, but then Watford really came into it. I thought the game management today by Leicester wasn't really the best, especially if it looked like a win in the 90th minute, but somehow we managed to concede it a couple of minutes later, which I still can't work out how we didn't just hold on in the end to secure, which could have been a massive 3 points away from home to help us secure Champions League football. And overall, it really wasn't the greatest of performances today by Leicester. But Leicester did look very good at some times, especially in the first 20 minutes or so. I think we caused Watford a lot of problems. Jamie Vardy had a few chances, so did Tillemans, so did James Maddison. And also, towards the end of the game, I think Leicester looked fairly good as well. I think Demari Gray had an absolutely brilliant game today. He is a brilliant impact substitution from Brendan Rodgers. So I think we showed some signs of promise, but hopefully we can just carry that through and keep the run of play going throughout the 90 minutes for the remaining games of the season. But like I said, a point is not the worst result today against Watford away from home. But of course, with the man of defeat, it's very, very disappointing that we didn't take 3 points away from today's game. Very, very frustrating. I was at the time, of course, Ben Chilwell, the absolute delight of him scoring late on. We thought he won it from an absolute wonder strike, and then Craig Dawson just went down the other end and produced a brilliant strike as well to make it 1-1. So in the man of defeat, it's a very disappointing result. It does feel like a loss, but a point, like I said, it's not the worst result today. It could have gone the other way, but to be perfectly honest, I think Leicester, in the way the game went, we really should have took 3 points away from today's game, of course, with Chilwell's late strike. But of course, Brendan Rodgers had to make a few changes heading into the game. If you look at his team he selected for today's game against Watford, of course, James Justin came in at right back for the injured Ricardo Pereira, and Marc Albrighton came in the right wing spot for the injured Jose Perez. I think most people went with this lineup, and it was a fairly strong lineup heading into the game. I think at some parts it worked well, but I think a change was needed, especially with 5 substitutions. I think Brendan only used 5 or so, which I really can't understand. I think Watford used all 5, and I think if we can utilise the 5 substitutions for the rest of the season, it could work well. I think we need to make a few changes on the stroke of half time, especially with how the game was going. Leicester were really struggling at the half-time break, and I think the half-time break really came at the right time for the Foxes. I think if we introduced Demari Gray early on, it could have been a different story. I think Demari Gray was absolutely brilliant today, but I guess it's the first game. It's going to be difficult to try and manage. I think Brendan did quite a good job in introducing Demari Gray and Kelechi Iheanacho. But moving into the game itself then, so Leicester started off fairly well, like I've been saying, in the first 20 minutes or so. We did cause Watford quite a few problems. Jamie Vardy had a good chance, so did Tielemans, but our shooting in the first 20 minutes or so wasn't really the greatest. Then Watford really did grow into the game. They had a couple of big chances late on in the half. Kasper Schmeichel was absolutely brilliant today as well. I think Wilfred Ndidi lost the ball, and there's a big chance for Sarr. Kasper made a good save. So overall, first half was was mixed. Of course, Watford came into it late on, but overall, yeah, it was a very balanced first half. Both sides having big chances, so it ended 0-0 at half time. The first half was very much a half of 2 halves, basically. Of course, Leicester dominating one and Watford dominating the other. But moving on to the second half, Brendan made no changes heading into the second half, and Watford did carry on with their pressure. They had a brilliant chance for Sarr, who went 1-on-1, and another absolutely cracking save from Kasper Schmeichel. But Demari Gray did get introduced, and it absolutely changed the game. Gray, of course, he's been getting a lot of stick this season, but he looked absolutely brilliant when he came on, in my opinion. Really direct, taking players on, taking shots. I mean, just didn't have that through Harvey Barnes, who I thought had a very poor game today. Kelechi Iheanacho also came on. Leicester had a couple of huge chances. Marc Albrighton getting played through from Demari Gray, smashing it against the post, and literally a few seconds after that, James Maddison had a shot, and it was a good save from Ben Foster, and Leicester were really getting at the door. 90th minute, Demari Gray spreads the play to Chilwell. Chilwell with an absolutely wonderful strike into the top right-hand corner. Couldn't have got it any more into the top right-hand corner. Then Watford just piled on the pressure, won a corner, and Craig Dawson somehow just managed to produce a bicycle kick somehow. I don't know how we did it. It was poor defended by Leicester. It was chaos in the box, and he managed to poke it past Schmeichel. Kasper nearly saved it, but it just went in off the post, and overall it finished at Vicarage Road, Watford 1, Leicester City 1. So that's it for my general thoughts on today's game against Watford. So let's get straight into my player ratings from the side which started today against Watford down at Vicarage Road. Make sure you let me know in the comment section down below, do you agree with my decision, do you not? Let me know down below and put your player ratings in the comment section down below. But without further ado, starting off in goal with Kasper Schmeichel, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. I thought Kasper had an absolutely brilliant game today against Watford. Of course, he couldn't really do too much about Dawson's late goal, because I don't think anyone really expected Craig Dawson to do that. He made some absolutely crucial saves, so from Sarr, especially in the first half when Wilfred Ndidi lost it, he made a crucial save then. And also in the second half when Sarr went through on goal, 1-on-1, Kasper made an absolutely crucial save for you. So yeah, Kasper had an absolutely brilliant performance today, and his kicking was pretty good as well. So yeah, a very good performance from the Danish international today. So I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. Moving into the back four then, to start off at right back with James Justin, I'm going to give the youngster a 6 out of 10. I know it sounds harsh, but I thought in the second half he just didn't really do too much, made a few mistakes. I know he's only young. It was a decent performance from the youngster. I think in the first half he had a pretty good performance. He looked very comfortable on the ball, tried some things out. He made a couple of mistakes, but that's alright with the youngster. He needs to be confident to try things like that, and James Justin's got that. But in the second half he just didn't really seem to be involved too much. Defensively he was alright, but going forward as a modern day fullback, I think he needs to offer a bit more going forward. But yeah, I'm going to give James Justin a 6 out of 10. Moving into the two centre-backs then, to start off the right one with Johnny Evans, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. It was a solid performance from Johnny Evans today. He made some good tackles at times. He didn't really do anything wrong. I think with Watford's goal in the corner, I think the defence could have dealt with that a bit better, but obviously later on it was a scramble in the box, and somehow Dawson managed to pull that out. So yeah, fair play to Craig Dawson. It was a very good goal. I don't think Johnny Evans or the defence could have really done too much about that, but I think if Leicester just managed to clear it a bit better, it would have helped out. But yeah, I'm going to give Johnny Evans a 7 out of 10. Moving on to the other centre-back with the main man, the absolute Turkish god, Kasper Schmeichel. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 as well. I thought it was a decent performance from Kasper Schmeichel, same as Johnny Evans. Him and Johnny always seem to have a decent performance. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for the two centre-halves. Moving on to left back with Ben Chilwell, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. His goal absolutely saved him, because his performance today wasn't the best apart from that. His crossing, he got forward a bit well, which fair play to him, but his end product just wasn't there. But at least Chilwell's getting forward now. Defensively, he was very good as well, but that goal, what a strike that was from Ben Chilwell. That strike alone just boosts him up. So I'm going to give Ben Chilwell an 8 out of 10. It was a great performance from him, and his finish. I did say his end product was bad, but that end product from that shot wasn't bad at all. So yeah, fair play to Chilwell. What a strike that was. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for Ben Chilwell for his performance today against Watford. Moving on to the midfield three then, so start off with Wilfred and Diddy playing in that defensive role. I'm going to give Wolf a 7 out of 10. It wasn't the best of performances from Wolf today. It's on the edge of 6 to 7. It wasn't the best of performances, like I said, from Wilfred and Diddy today. Obviously, he was there at times. He was good. He was doing the right thing. He was cutting the passing lanes, but at times he didn't make the right decisions with his passing. So he put some stupid tackles in. Sometimes he gave away a lot of fouls in today's game. So it wasn't the best of performances from Wolf, but it wasn't the worst. It was average. So I'm going to give Wolf a 7. It's nearly a 6, but I'm just going to boost it up to a 7 for Wilfred and Diddy. Moving on to the other centre midfielder with Youri Tielemans, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. It was another poor performance from Youri today. Just very, very slow on the ball as per usual. I think he had some good moments in the game, but he just didn't really get hold of the ball at times. I think the midfield needed to be more behind Jamie Vardy. At times he played the ball forward and there was no one there. Vardy had to hold the ball up and the attack was gone because Watford just got back as well. So I think the midfield needs to get there, and Youri Tielemans does thrive in that position nearer to Jamie Vardy. We saw it last season. Him and Maddison need to be further up the pitch. Them two are dropping way too deep to try and pick up the ball. But it was a poor performance from Youri today, but average at best. So I'm going to give Youri a 6 out of 10 for his performance today against Watford. Moving into the other centre midfielder with James Maddison, I'm also going to give him a 6 out of 10. I know it sounds harsh, but I have to be realistic here, boys. It wasn't the best of performances from Maddison. I think he needs to get further forward. I said it in my live watch vlog. He just needs to be behind Vardy. At times he's dropping even deeper than Wilfred and Diddy to pick the ball up, and that's in Diddy's job and Tielemans' job. Maddison needs to be right behind Vardy in the front, receive the ball on the half turn, play Vardy through. It worked last season. It's worked this season. I don't know why he keeps dropping too deep. It's fair enough if he's been instructed to do that, but I really don't get that. But it wasn't the best of performances from Maddison, so I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10 for his performance today against Watford. And finally, moving into the front three then, to start off in the left wing position with Harvey Barnes. I'm going to give Harvey a 5 out of 10. I thought it wasn't a good performance from the youngster today. Really, that's end product. He just didn't really have the time to get forward. He didn't really make any runs, and he just didn't really, I don't know with Harvey Barnes, it was just a poor performance in general from him. Didn't really do too much on the track back as well. He was out of position quite a few times today, was young Harvey Barnes. It's disappointing to see because he's been absolutely brilliant this season. Hopefully he can turn it around, but a quick mention, Demari Gray, I thought was absolutely brilliant when he came on, offered way more direct, cutting in, taking shots, and that's what you need. If you don't shoot, you don't score. So even though Demari Gray does take some stupid shots sometimes, if you don't shoot, you're never going to score. So fair play to Demari Gray, but it wasn't the best of performances from Harvey Barnes, so I'm going to give Harvey a 5 out of 10. Moving into the right wing position with Marc Albrighton, I'm going to give Marc a 6 out of 10. I thought it wasn't the best of performances from Marc Albrighton. He always gives 100% fair play, but he just didn't really seem to do too much. I think the front three was overall pretty poor in today's game. Didn't really get the service either, so I'm going to give Marc a 6 out of 10. On the track back, he was good, helping out the youngster James Justin, but overall it wasn't the best of performances from Marc Albrighton. And finally, moving up front with Jamie Vardy, I'm also going to give him a 6 out of 10. It's probably not Vardy's fault, but he was very, very isolated. I mentioned it earlier. The balls get playing through. It was good balls. Got put out wide. He had to wait about 10 seconds for the midfielder and the wingers to catch up. And I don't understand why the midfield and the defence and the attack, and the strikers is so far apart. It's way too far apart. I think Vardy was very, very isolated. From the first 20 minutes or so, he was a bit involved. Had a couple of shots here and there, but it just wasn't Jamie Vardy's day. So I'm going to give Vardy a 6 out of 10 for his performance today against Watford. So then, boys and girls, that is it for my match review for Watford versus Leicester. Of course, it finished 1-1 down at Vicarage Road today. A disappointing result, but we move on to Brighton next up. The matchday content for that is going to be coming very, very soon. There's a lot of games coming, so get ready for all the content for the Brighton game. The match preview will be out on Monday, so get ready for that. And of course, the live watch log and the match review just like this. So if you have enjoyed today's video, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Football is back, so subscribe. Can we get to 1,100 by the end of June? That is the aim for you guys. Can we do it? That would be much appreciated. If you could, turn on your notifications so you never see any future videos on the channel just like this one. Follow all my social medias. They'll be down there, boys and girls. But that is it for today's video. I've been SPORTSA, and I'll see you all in my next video. Peace out.